This is second day of Checkpoint Firewall. Yesterday, I just discussed about history, path, certification, and all. Let me give you short review of what I did yesterday, okay? So that you guys will be updated. And please follow yesterday's video. I already shared, it's already uploaded. You guys can see video uploaded over there. Whatever soft copies I'll be using, I'll be sharing all those documents on the Google Drive itself. Videos will be uploaded. And for Drive access, I believe I have already given you guys on Google Drive, all documents, videos will be available. For practical, if you guys want to do the entire practical of Checkpoint Firewall, minimum I said yesterday 20 GB, but I doubt with 20 GB as well. If you have 24 GB RAM on your laptop, you guys can do all the practicals of Checkpoint, or else we have to take NH Lab access to do all your practicals. Initially, 1 week, no requirement. I mean, you don't need because only theoretical things will be going on. After that, we'll need. Uh, so what are those devices where RAM will be used and all? That you'll understand after deployment only. Right now, not possible. Right? Okay. So yesterday I discussed there are multiple versions in Checkpoint Firewall R80. Before R80, there was R 70, 71, like that. There were these series, right? So now we are currently into from R80 on R80 to R80.20, 30, 40. Now we are into R81. This is the version of Checkpoint Firewall operating system. What is operating system of Checkpoint Firewall? GAIA, Gaia. And what's a kernel operating system of Gaia? FreeBSD Linux operating system. So your Gaia operating system, your Checkpoint Firewall operating system works on the top of kernel operating system, and that kernel is Linux, FreeBSD Linux. Those devices which runs on top of Linux will be mostly GUI based, less CLI dependent, but yes, CLI part also you should be aware of. 5%, not much, where you can take your GUI access, you can manage your management IP and all. The rest of the things you can manage through GUI itself. Yesterday, I was discussing about basics of firewall and I gave some tasks. Before I continue from that particular point, let me give you a small, you know, informations that we'll be covering. These are the theoretical informations. These are the theories that we'll be covering. Okay. So we'll understand the firewall mechanisms. How does it control the network? We'll see key points or key elements of your checkpoint firewall. We'll see architecture of the firewall. We'll see what is smart console and the features of a smart console. Few keywords like a smart console I'm using here. You have heard console, but you haven't heard what is smart console. So these things will be new for you guys. Checkpoint firewall architecture is totally different than any other firewalls. None of the firewall has same architecture. I mean, this architecture. It will take time for you guys to understand these keywords like what is a smart console. We'll understand deployment options, basics of Gaia operating system, policies, right, inspection, then administration and rules, right, backup techniques, right, layer-wise concept. Again, multiple theories are there, guys. You just can go through, right? We'll see checkpoint security solutions. How does it protect your network? What are the licensing requirements, right? How does you do monitoring, right? And also you see how efficiently you can change the gateway informations, tunnels, remote users, site-to-site VPN traffic. How would you analyze it? VPN traffics, users and user group. How would you create? user-based authentication, right? So cluster Excel, here cluster Excel is nothing but a redundancy. See guys, whatever I'm talking here, we'll be doing practically. So I'm just showing you these are the theoretical stuff that we'll be doing. Practically we'll work with Gaia portal, we'll modify existing security policy, we'll use a hide NAT and a static NAT. Here a hide NAT is not like hiding something. Here a hide NAT means dynamic translation. Terms are little different. Managing administrative or administrator access, installing and managing remote security gateways, managing backup, defining control policy layers, defining or sharing a security policy layers, working with checkpoint firewall logs, maintaining logs, site to site, user access, cluster Excel, VPN, and all. This document was little old. I have added few new things here. For example, I'll update this document. Uh, I'll add few labs here, like time-based access, uh, bridge mode, it's L2 firewalling, IPS, content filtering, and so on. Multiple other labs are there, which I'll list it later. So these are the details that we'll be working with our lab perspective. Regarding certifications, I told you guys yesterday, we have CCSA certification and CCSE certification, plus we have security master certifications. Different type of certifications we have. We are currently studying CCSA. Okay. And what is the examination cost of CCSA? $250, valid for 2 years. After CCSA, you'll go for CCSE. Again, price is same $250. Is CCSA a prerequisite for CCSE? Answer is no. Okay. If you want to do both the trainings and directly go for a CCSE certification, you can. Again, validity will be 2 years. Now, if you are writing CCSA and then if you write CCSE within 2 years before your certificate gets expired, it will be renewed by the last certification, right? If you guys want to be expert in a checkpoint firewall, CCSA and CCSE, two certifications are enough. Other certifications not required. So whenever you guys are going for a checkpoint firewall or checkpoint company for a job, first thing, your training is important, not the certification. But if you have done certifications, that will be more impactful. They'll give you more priority because you will be CCSA certified. But according to me, certification is not that important. Do trainings properly, go for a interview, get selected, join a company, and after joining, they'll give you a voucher to write all these certifications. Save your money. Right. Many guys will have a misconception that I'll write a certification, after that my resume will look heavy. Okay, he is a certified guy. That's not important, guys. Okay. Yeah, those guys who have some year backs. For example, they completed their graduation and they started doing a training in between. They have 2, 3 years of gap for them to put their resumes at top. I would recommend them to do some certifications for those guys, or else experienced guys, those who have already done some, uh, those who have already worked, those who have some working experience, right? Those guys are recommended to do certifications, not the freshers, right? So don't be certification focused all the time. Okay. So Gopi is asking question, what are we going to cover in this training? We are focused on CCSA right now, but if I show you a official training of CCSA, see here. Yeah. CCSA official curriculum, if you see, objectives and some of the exercises, right? Checking rules, administrator users, license, traffic visibility, smart console, right? Side to side VPN, cluster Excel, and then how to analyze VPN traffic, and so on. I mean, few of practicals only mentioned, and rest all are objectives only. So by doing this CCSA official curriculum, if I give you guys in 10 hours, I'll complete and I'll tell you guys bye bye. But this is not gonna help you guys. So what I did is I have shown you here, right? Practical syllabus. Did you see in that syllabus anywhere mentioned translation? It wasn't there. Installing and managing gateways were not there. They are not talking about layers. They are not talking about uh, they are not talking about time-based access, bridge mode, IPS. Multiple things are there which they are not discussing. Add on to this, I'll try to add few more labs. I'll just check out. Okay. These topics are somewhere in a CCSE, not in a CCSA. So this training is kind of mixed training where I'll make you guys prepared with CCSA, also with few topics of CCSE, right? I mean, you'll be almost having a knowledge of CCSE also, but few portions might not be. After completing this training, one thing I can guarantee, you can go and work professionally as a checkpoint firewall engineer. That much I'll make you guys capable with this training. All right. Gartner Magic Report and all I have already discussed. Introduction part and all I have already discussed in yesterday's class. I am not repeating it. Okay. Hereafter, I went into basics of firewall. Let me complete that basics of firewall today, and then further I'll discuss about checkpoint firewall, hardware, software, appliances. Okay. Yesterday, I gave you guys some tasks about basics or fundamentals of firewall. We had multiple types of firewalls, right? Before I talk about types of firewalls or any other stuff, tell me, guys, what is firewall? Yesterday, I taught you guys, right? New guys, tell me what is firewall? Tell me anything that you have understood. Don't hesitate. Tell anything that you have understood.
Firewall by default it will disable all the traffic.
Mhm.
Only by permitting only traffic it will allow. and it will, if you consider next generation firewalls, it will take an entry also. So
Okay.
even deep packet inspection will be done.
Mm. Others, you were present yesterday, right? Tell me what is firewall.
Like when you see the one security got like it means one particular who's coming inside permission is
See, if you want to clear your interviews, right, you have to work on your communication. You have to. And I'll tell you a best part of networking. Networking does not require fluent English. Networking itself is a language for me, and you should also understand that. General language is not like firewall is a security product. Do you speak in this way, in a general way, in a general conversation? Do you work? Do you use these keywords, firewall, security product, or security device, incoming, outgoing, permitting, denying? Do you use these words? No, these all are networking words, which you use in a networking. You have to learn certain networking words and you have to combine them and make a definition. That's it. Little bit work on your grammar, done. So for grammar and all, we have English classes also, right? You can attend that classes if you feel your communication is not that confident. So don't hesitate and don't feel yourself, right, very down, and don't hesitate to speak in a class. If you don't speak, I can't evaluate from where should I make you prepare. So be cool, answer anything, make mistakes, right? That's good for a student. If you work, if you speak, make mistakes, I can correct you. You guys are not professional guys, right? Sitting here. You guys are here to learn. So make mistakes. Online guys, anyone? What is firewall?
So limited to routing and switching, firewall can inspect traffic, and it got the next generation firewall features.
Hmm.
Example, we can do a DDoS. We can attach the DDoS profiles to stop the DDoS attacks,
Hmm.
and it has a firewall feature, so we can inspect if there is any malicious signatures
Correct.
or something inside the packet. Then it can inspect and it can figure out.
So let me combine all your definitions. Yesterday we knew firewall is just a device. It's a security product or cyber security product which is deployed in a network for a traffic filtering. What type of traffic? Incoming and outgoing traffic. We can permit, deny, monitor. As per requirement, we can create a rule. This is firewall, right? Same way. Now your friend told compare to router. Router is a L3 device or a L2 device, guys? It's a L3 device. So compared to a router, firewall has more advantage. Your firewall is also a layer 3 device. Router is also layer 3 device. So what's the difference between them? It's a security product. A router is not a security product. On a firewall, we have many more features compared to router. Router is made only for routing purpose. All routing things will work, but not security products. I mean security features. Your firewall inbuilt has a security features, right? So firewall is not only again a firewall. Firewall again has a varieties. You guys have keypad phone, smartphone, and advanced phone, right? What's the difference between them? And what's the common between them? Old phones, keypad phones, and all the phones has one common thing: you can do calling, receiving and calling you can do. That's a common feature. That is like all our firewall. I'm just comparing in an easy way to make you guys understand. Some firewalls, I mean, some phones does not have operating system. Some phones has their operating systems, right? Now there are multiple type of operating systems on a phone. Windows, what do we call?
Becomes
iPhones, we have iOS operating system or we have Android, right? Every operating system has their own kernels. So whichever phones are operating system based, there we can have more features. We can install more features. Now, limited phones with limited features, you need more features, you need more high capacity of RAM, processor, right? Storage. You remember earlier in 2010, we used to use that Nokia black and white type of phones, right? No color phones, black and white phone, only dial, receive, play that snake game and all, right? Those things. Those were the earlier type of phones. So we had earlier type of firewalls also, only having firewall feature. First of all, it was having packet filtering only. We had earlier in 80s we had a firewall, but that firewall used to filter only the packets based on IP address and port numbers. It wasn't having visibility to payload. What is payload? Actual data. It wasn't having visibility to actual data. Then they came up with little advanced firewall like ASA firewall. These are 90s firewall. So they started working as a stateful firewall. Before that, we had stateless firewalls. Now, later, ASA firewall and all got updated. ASA wasn't 90s firewall. ASA was in 2000 firewall. Before ASA, there was a PIX firewall. PIX got updated in 2005, became ASA. Same way, multiple vendors like Checkpoint Firewall. It was introduced in 1993. In which country? Israel. It was a Israel-based company. It is a Israel-based company. In 1993, they started. 1993 means it was earlier days of firewall. Checkpoint Firewall was a software company. Later, they introduced their own firewall. They collaborated with Nokia for a hardware. Software and hardware collaborated together and they created Ipso Firewall with a Splat operating system. Right. In 2008 and 9, Checkpoint acquired Nokia hardware. Like you're having a HP laptop with Windows operating system. Now, what would you say? Is it a Windows laptop or a HP laptop? How would you say it's only a Windows laptop based on operating system? What about HP having a hardware? So it's a two different companies, right? Before 2009, it was the same thing for Checkpoint. Checkpoint was having software and hardware was of Nokia. In 2009, Checkpoint acquired hardware also. Now hardware is also of Checkpoint. Software is also of Checkpoint. And thereafter, they created a new operating system called Gaia. Gaia, Gaia, which is Linux-based operating system. Got it? Now we have a single vendor having both the options. Okay. In Windows, if you have a problem, you reach out Windows Tech Team, Microsoft Tech Team. If you get a problem in your PC, you reach out HP Center, two different vendors. But now Checkpoint says you don't have to go to Nokia and you don't have to go to Checkpoint. Only Checkpoint. Either a hardware problem or a software problem will fix it. Right. Okay. I yesterday also told you guys about Zone. What is Zone? Collection of traffics passing through a single interface so that your firewall can take a decision. Your zones are logical names assigned to a physical interface. So you make your traffic to pass through a single interface and exit through the other interface. In between, I can take a action on the traffic. Okay. Every day in our classes, we'll have some revision for whatever we have covered. I discussed about topmost firewalls, Gartner Magic Report, types of firewall, and I had given you a task. What is stateless firewall, stateful firewall, and next generation firewall? These were the tasks. So let me start. If you deploy a hardware, you'll have a hardware physical box, which you can touch, feel, you can deploy it somewhere, you can make a physical connections. Interfaces will be there. Here you will segregate LAN and WAN interfaces. When it comes to virtual firewall means what? Virtual firewall will be deployed on some servers. In NH, you have seen multiple servers, right? Like UCS servers. Top of that, you'll install ESXi operating system or any other operating systems, right? There are multiple vendors which has their own operating systems for virtualization as well. Like Proxmox recently, which Vikas was talking about. Proxmox is also an operating system which you can replace it with ESXi. Like you have a Windows operating system for documentation and your regular tasks. You can have iOS operating system also, right? Even it does the same thing. But iOS operating systems are more advanced. It supports only with Apple hardware. Same way, Proxmox has some advantages like it has inbuilt Docker feature. It does not have an inbuilt Docker, but it has a supporting character. It will support the Docker features, container feature. That's it, nothing else. You have a way of doing virtualization. You can create a virtual switches. You can have different virtual firewalls. In Checkpoint also we have hardware and software based firewalls. Let's say I'm a tech support company, right? I have taken contract of multiple banks. If I talk about one bank, let's say SBI Bank, wherever your hometown is, from there or wherever you stay in a Bangalore, you might have seen multiple SBI branches, right? Main branch, small branches. If I have taken a contract of securing SBI branches, I would deploy firewall to all the branch. All the branches traffic would pass through my data center. Guys, if I have to purchase a hardware for all these sites, cost would go very high. At the same time, just to make you understand, I'm giving you one example. If I tell you to go and buy hardware, laptop, and operating system, whose cost will be very high? Hardware cost, definitely. Operating system cost 9-10,000. Right, hardware cost is very high, right? CPU, RAM, process, I mean, CPU, RAM, storage, and all those things. So hardware cost is very high, right? But hardware will give you a dedicated CPU, dedicated RAM. It has an advantage as well. But some places where we can manage with the software-based firewalls, we can reduce the cost of a hardware. We should go with I mean, we should go with software-based firewalls itself. Why to go with a hardware? Clear? So in today's industry, we need every solutions. We need a hardware, we need software, both. We are currently in a hybrid type of network. Some of our accesses are on the cloud. For example, I'll make you understand the best example of a hybrid. How many of you go to cinema hall? Okay, everyone. At one time when you go, what's the cost? 300 for tickets. And then some snacks and all will go per head 700-800 minimum. That's the cost. How many movies did you see? One movie. But there are many guys who sit at home and pay 200 subscription of Netflix and watch the entire content for a month. Correct. So physical hardware was physically you're going and attending, I mean, watching cinema. That's a physical thing. In 800, one guy, and in 200, entire family for a month. Cloud based. Netflix is your SaaS, software as a service. You're taking subscription and taking a benefit. See the difference. Four guys going for movie. You're spending 3,200. Whereas all friends can sit in a room and watch same movie. Only a time difference we have, right? Instantly you can't watch, but after a time period it will come on OTT. So what did you understand with this example? With this example, you understand cloud gives you more facilities in a low cost. That's a virtual platform. But physical gives you, takes you high cost for the instant type of, you know, I mean, physical high cost, virtual low cost. Simple understand. In today's date, we have some of our data centers on cloud. Some companies are totally cloud based, and some companies are hardware based. Now, we have a banks. Do you think banks will ever go to third party? Security breaches, security challenges are there. They will not share their personal data to any third party, you know. So since pandemic has come, since pandemic, we have understood one thing. Studies can be done from online and physical both. I mean, you all are attending hybrid classes. Some days you will be physically present, some day you will be online. So you guys are attending hybrid classes. It means our work culture are also changing, right? Now some offices are having, like for me, I'm taking two classes physically, night class I'm taking online, hybrid. So these working cultures are developing day by day. What I mean is cloud will be there, hardware will be there. So you have to learn both technologies. Public cloud, private cloud. Private cloud means you will create your own data center. Private cloud. Public cloud means like AWS, Azure, this type of, subscriptions you will take to create. Checkpoint firewalls are software based and hardware based both. Wherever you need a hardware, you have to deploy hardware. Wherever you can manage with software, you can deploy software. Software can't be deployed on, I mean, hardware can't be deployed on a cloud, right? Can you take your hardware to AWS cloud and say, hey, put this hardware? Not possible, right? But software you can. So you have to understand everything. Hardware, software, everything's are required. So to understand this type of deployments for a software-based firewall, you have to understand how servers are deployed. Like we have a server, we have a Cisco UCS server, Dell server, HP server. Big servers will have 8 Ethernet ports, dual CPU. They can support hard drives, I mean SSD, like 10 TB, 20 TB, that much capacity it will have. It can support a RAM of 1 TB. So those are the configurations. And once you pay for the hardware and use it for multiple deployments, that's a benefit of virtualization. Okay, coming back to types of firewall. Types of firewall, I told you guys, we have a stateless firewall and we have a stateful firewall. here many of you guys are there who are not aware of any other firewalls, attending checkpoint firewall for the first time. These things, what I'm discussing right now, is a fundamental of any firewall. Attending checkpoint and understanding all this stuff, don't think this will not help for other firewalls fundamental. No. These are the common fundamentals of every firewall. You can use this theory for every firewalls. No matter you go for checkpoint, FortiGate or any other stuff, same can be used. 1 minute, guys. Okay, stateless firewall. Understand what is a stateless firewall. All of you guys are aware of Cisco router. In a Cisco router, what do you implement to control the traffic?
CCL.
ACL. By default, router, does it have a ACL? No, it does not have a ACL. So what do we do in that? Tell me, guys.
We allow or deny the ports for the source and destination.
We create a ACL. In that ACL, we write a statement. Different type of ACLs are there, right? So we create a standard ACL or extended ACL. So we create extended ACL if we want to control protocol, source, destination, port, IP, everything, right? In a router, when you create a ACL, and whenever anyone is accessing from one private zone to public zone, does it maintain any entry here? Does it show you that this guy is going with the TCP protocol with Telnet? Do you get such type of information? No, right? So your firewall does not have any re-verification mechanism. Firewall in the sense making a router to work like a firewall by implementing some ACL and policies. In such conditions, right, when your packet is returning back, right, it won't have any verification mechanism. If I have applied a ACL in an ingress interface, while sending only, it will check the traffic. Returning traffic will not be checked. Reason? Reason would be your rules are applied in a unidirectional, not in a bidirectional. Again, if you want bidirectional check, again you have to apply the conditions here. This type of firewalling method is called stateless, where your firewall does not maintain any state of a connection passing through your firewall. This is called stateless. It does not have any entry, does not have any verification for a reply packet. That is called stateless. Now we have stateful. What is stateful? Same thing. Here no state. I mean, here no state, and here we have a state. Any traffic passing through the firewall, your firewall will maintain a state of the traffic passing through, state of a connection. Connection in the sense, don't compare it with TCP and UDP. Here connection means any traffic, either it's a TCP or UDP, it will maintain the information. That information is called state table. And whenever reply will come back, a reply will be verified through this entry which is done on the firewall. Is it coming from same source port number, same destination port number, same application from HTTP or HTTPS? It will maintain and verify from the entry. If entry does not match, if any issues they have in an entry, it won't allow. Understood?
Yes.
So this is a difference between stateless and stateful firewall. Okay.
Sir, in stateless firewall for return traffic also rule required, right?
No, rule is not required. For returning traffic, if you want, you can apply, but it has to be applied again manually.
Without a rule also it will work.
Without a rule, see, it's a router, right? What is the work of router? To route the packet. It does
Yes.
not do any kind of filtering by default. So you apply your filtering. When you apply a ACL, you decide inbound or outbound.
Mhm.
So you have to decide in which direction and for what type of traffic. For outgoing traffic and incoming traffic. In both the directions, if you want to apply
Mhm.
ACL, you can. But again, that can create a problem, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But coming to a dedicated firewall, a stateful firewall, which is especially a firewall designed as a firewall, has by default this type of mechanism, right? I don't have to create any ACLs. By default, it does a traffic filtering. Are you guys aware of ASA firewall? ASA firewall training done? In ASA firewall, which traffics are by default allowed from high to low security level? Those who have attended ASA firewall, tell me by default high to low security level, what type of traffics are allowed? TCP and
TCP
UDP.
and UDP.
TP and UDP.
TCP and UDP traffics are only allowed. Did you apply any filtering on the ASA that like TCP or UDP will not be allowed it from low to high? Did you apply any ACL? It comes by default inbuilt, right? Low to high, no access, high to low TCP and UDP access, high to low ICMP inspection or any other IP protocols. If you want to inspect, you have to inspect it manually, like ICMP, EIGRP, OSPF and all, right? So what I mean is, firewall by default is designed to do a traffic filtering, where router is not designed to do a traffic filtering. You have to manually do. And on a router, if you do a manual filtering, that works like a stateless firewall because it does not maintain any entry. Any traffic passing through a firewall, it does not maintain any entry table. Like in a router, you have routing table, right? You know routing table because it's a router, it will maintain a routing table, but it does not maintain any state table because that feature is not there. So your firewall by default is designed to do a traffic filtering by default because it's a router plus security product. This is a stateful firewall. But a stateful firewall does not mean it's a next generation firewall. Now varieties are coming. First you understood stateless. Now you are understanding stateful. Write it down. All stateful firewalls are not next generation firewall. All stateful firewalls are not next generation firewalls. Understood? All stateful firewalls are not next generation firewall. What is that? All stateful firewalls are not next generation. Now you have to understand features of stateful and features of next generation, and then you can make a difference.
Case is a stateful.
ASA firewall is an example of stateful firewall. It's a firewall, right? But it's not a next generation firewall. You have a keypad phone and you have a smartphone, but both are phones. Keypad phone is your ASA and next generation firewall is your checkpoint. Now let's see stateful firewall features. Take a note of it, note of this. Firewall features written here. Take a note of this, guys. Here, just take an example, just take a note of policy. You can write a default policy instead of writing MPF. You guys are currently learning checkpoint firewall, right? Checkpoint firewall does not understand MPF. Understand? Default policy of firewall. Write it down. Packet filtering. What is packet filtering, guys?
Just checking the header IP source port and
Take a note of all this. Packet filtering definitions will change based on firewall to firewall. If it is stateful firewall like ASA, it will check source port, source IP, source port, destination IP, destination port, protocol, these factors, right? But when it comes to next generation firewall, meaning will change. I mean, those existing factors are there, but along with that, it can be application, sub-application, these things. Note it down, these features, and I'll make you understand. Done, all of you? Guys, these firewall features are stateful firewall features. I told you stateful firewall, right? A firewall which can maintain the state of a connection passing through the firewall. Such firewalls are stateful firewalls. These are the minimum features which comes with your stateful firewall. And which firewall will be an example of a stateful firewall? ASA firewall is the best example. ASA firewall is only a firewall. It's not a next generation firewall. And ASA firewall can work with all these features. Let me explain these features so that you'll have some clarity. Okay. Packet filtering. Currently, which firewall I'm talking about? Stateful firewall. Stateful firewall does a packet filtering. I told you not all stateful firewalls are next generation. Like ASA. I'm taking example of ASA. It's a stateful firewall only. In this, it does a packet filtering. So packet filtering it can do based on source IP and source port, destination IP and destination port. It also can do filtering based on some protocols like not much, HTTP, FTP, FTP, DNS, this type of some clear text protocols. These all protocols are clear text. ASA can't do filtering with HTTPS, SSH, or this type of traffics. Okay. These are few layer 7 protocols which ASA can do inspection. For ASA firewall, this is the higher inspection. Can't do more than this. Okay. It can entirely block DNS. Entirely DNS means everything will work domain based www dot everything will block. It can entirely block HTTP. Inside HTTP, if you want to block something, you have to write like a script. I mean, you have to write 15 lines. In today's date, who's writing 15 lines? Simple click we do. GUI based, not CLI based. Right. So these are the things based on which you can control our traffic on ASA firewall. Because what type of firewall it is? Stateful firewall only. I'll write word only. It is not a next generation firewall. So it has a limited feature. It can look into a source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, some protocols, and define the action as a deny or permit. This much only it has capability. This is called what? This is called packet filtering. Any traffic passing through the firewall based on these parameters, I'll try to filter the traffic. Your source IP, source port, destination IP, destination port, based on that, I'll restrict the access. That's in a firewall control. Now I'm talking about stateful filtering. What is a stateful filtering? Is a stateful filtering and packet filtering same thing? No, these are two different things. Let's say this is your firewall, and through this firewall, I'm sending some traffic from one interface to other interface. So packet has to enter one interface and exit other interface. Here we do packet filtering. Here we mention what IP and all these informations, what will be allowed and what not be allowed. We apply. This is traffic filtering. Stateful filtering means what? Let's say any traffic is passing through the firewall. Firewall will maintain a state and returning traffic will match with that state table and give you a reply. To verify you are getting a reply from the same guy or not. This is called stateful filtering. So mostly reply packets getting checked against your entry and then getting a reply. This is called stateful filtering. So packet filtering and state filterings are not same thing. These are two different things. Later, I'll make you understand there will be something called as a content filtering. Content filtering is not the same thing. Content filtering is where you filter what is inside your packet. Like this is packet filtering, right? So packet is carried by source IP, source port, destination IP, destination port, protocol, these things. But what is inside the packet, that is not filtered. If you want to filter what is inside the packet, you need to have a feature called content filtering. And content filtering feature we don't have with ASA firewall. This feature is present with next generation firewall. So guys, time to understand what is next generation firewall. Now we understood what are the features of simple firewall. Clear? These are the features. Okay, before I get into next generation firewall. Your normal firewall supports routing like a layer 3. As a router does a routing, your firewall also does. It can work like a layer 2 firewall as well. I can deploy my firewall as a layer 2 firewall. Okay. And what is layer 2 firewall? Like, how does your switch work? With a no IP address, we don't need any IP. Same way, transparent firewall can work. It can work with AAA server. It will support VPN. It will support IPv6, load balancing of VPN, stateful failover cluster, MPF. All these features, default policies, are present on a stateful firewall, but it does not have a next generation firewall. I mean, it's not a next generation firewall. Now understand what is next generation. See, next generation firewall. Guys, these features which I have listed here, this filtering which your firewall can do, right? And what are the features on the firewall? These are the features of firewall. These are features only of firewall. Come to next generation firewall. And here your next generation firewall has all those features. Simple. It has all those features of your previous stateful firewall, plus anti-bot, VPN, URL filtering, right? Antivirus, identity awareness, app control, anti-spam, IPS, data loss prevention. See how many extra features we have. All these features, when you combine along with firewall feature in a single operating system, that becomes next generation, right? See how many features got included. Now, when this next generation firewall will do a traffic filtering, right? It will do a traffic filtering. Earlier, packet filtering. I mean, I'm talking about a packet filtering. When a next generation firewall will do a packet filtering, in that these things will be by default included. Plus, it can work with advanced protocols, like it can work with HTTPS, it can work with SSH, it can work with SSL, it can work with TLS. I mean, it can work with all the protocols. It can do layer 7 inspections properly. It can stop, it can do a filtering of applications. On an application, we can filter sub applications. On a Facebook, we have multiple other applications running, right? You are getting Facebook. On a Facebook, we have chat, video call, audio call, download, upload, sports, many other options we have. Those are consuming your bandwidth of internet, right? If all 10 guys start watching videos on a YouTube or a Facebook, that will consume more bandwidth, isn't it? If I just stop all those bandwidth consuming sub applications, and if I allow you only to use a page, internet users will be less, right? Definitely it will be less. So can I do such type of control? I don't want you to allow chat. I don't want you to allow videos. I don't want to allow comment, post, this type of things on a Facebook, but you can access only Facebook page. Can I do that? Yes. These features are present on next generation firewall. So on a firewall, I have all these features, but in a next generation firewall, we have additional features. Application control, you see here, application control, identity awareness. In ASA type of firewalls, Who is accessing what? 10, 15 guys are here. Now you all are accessing everything on the internet. Now who is accessing what? I want to control that application. User wise, I want to control. Can I do that on a ASA firewall? No. On a next generation firewall, we have all these features. So when I talk about packet filtering, next generation firewall has multiple characters, multiple advanced features included in the packet filtering. Whereas when I talk about simple firewall, it has very limited things that it can filter. Guys, am I clear with what is firewall and a next generation firewall? Did you understand the difference between them? These questions I'll ask you in tomorrow's class. Do research and come back. Another question. What are the features of checkpoint firewall? What are the next generation firewall features of checkpoint firewall? I mean, simply, what are the features of checkpoint firewall? Make a list. These are the questions for tomorrow. Make a list. What is blade? What are blades? What are blades on checkpoint firewall? Two things. What are features and what are blades? Understood? You'll do research on these two things, and one more important thing I'll give you. What is three-tier architecture? Checkpoint firewall has three-tier architecture. Checkpoint, three-layer architecture. Instead of saying three-layer architecture, you can also say three-tier architecture. So what is three-tier architecture of checkpoint firewall? Do research. Three things I gave you. Do research on that. Features, blades, and three-tier architecture. Do research on these three things because in tomorrow's class we'll discuss all this stuff. Okay. All right. I believe all of you have already joined WhatsApp, received the drive access. Okay. Right. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.